Hi everyone, welcome back to these screens. Today I'm very excited to introduce you to Katie. She's one of our students that just completed the Business Development Certification program, and I invited her to talk a little bit more about her experience and share a little bit more how we work here at the BD School and what you can expect if you become one of our students. So Katie, nice to see you. How was this past week for you?
It was good. It was a busy sort of flow, which is always nice to make the week go fast and feel like you're accomplishing things.
Very good. Great, Katie. So maybe you can tell us something a little bit more about the type of business development you do, maybe talk a little bit to our audience through your job to give them a little bit of a better understanding of what you do.
Yes. So I am the business development director of a pretty new company in sort of the startup stage. I mean, we've been around, we say that we're about 8 years old, but we're still building and creating a lot of our systems. I'm the business development director for a clinical mental health practice. So my job is to create visibility and trust in the community and build partnerships and contracts to allow people in the community to get mental health treatment. And then we have a sibling company, which is a training institute, and we primarily teach clinicians how to provide trauma-informed or trauma-based mental health modalities. And our specialty is EMDR for anyone who is familiar with that. That stands for eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. You can Google it.
Awesome. Or go on ChatGPT and probably is going to tell you everything about it.
It'll tell you everything for sure. Yeah.
Great. And of course, what are your tasks as a business development director, considering also that you are a clinician yourself, right? So you actually have a bit of a different background than actual business development.
I do, which I think is part of what brought me here to you, where I think a lot of BD people from what I've read, because I've done a lot of reading of trying to figure out what it is that I was supposed to do. But I am a clinician and a clinical supervisor and a site supervisor. So I do a lot of the clinical and other operation tasks. But at this stage in business development, we're really building our systems to figure out what's going to work best so that way we can get the most partnerships and contracts for both companies and figuring out who our ideal client is for that. It's a little bit different than a business to client perspective where I'm trying to work with companies and support them in meeting their needs. So it's doing a lot of research, as I've learned with you, and trying different things to see what is successful. And we've been in this, I mean, experiment tactical stage for a couple years as I was brought on. We didn't really think we needed it at first. And then we are like, oh, we really need to do this a
Mhm.
little bit more strategically and mindfully. And so apparently I have a natural personality for it. And I do think that's true because I didn't know I was doing it when I was doing it. And then when I learned more about it, I was like, oh, I've been doing this the whole time, but just more tactically and not as
Mhm.
strategic as I wanted to be.
Very good. And so, of course, well, now you, of course, you completed the business development certification program, but what brought you here in the first place? So what type of challenges were you trying to solve, and what did you expect to happen with the training?
Oh, well, I felt a little lost. I like to understand the whole process of
Mhm.
something so that way, I think, I think I circle things almost like I'm going to attack it. Like I need to see all the different avenues and perspectives so I can figure out what's the best place for us. And there's business development, there's not really a school that I've found for it. Like you can get
Mhm.
your master's in business administration. You can do a lot of different things, but when I look at other people in the field, their backgrounds are either that in business or they've come some other way. And there was no pathway. And I like to understand that process. So that way I don't have to reinvent all the wheels. I can
Mhm.
scale. I can say, like, okay, let me scaffold like this person did. So I searched and searched, and there's really not that many places out there. And when I came across your website and how you really came to business development, I was like, well, I can really resonate with that. And it was clear that there was a purpose of figuring out a system and understanding the foundational pieces of business development, and how they interact with sales and marketing and how they don't interact with sales and marketing. And those pieces really spoke to me. I was like, okay, this is going to have everything in a strategic format because I don't want to.
Mhm.
I think when we don't have a plan and we don't have foundation, we don't understand strategy, it can really burn you out. And I don't really want any more adrenaline or cortisol pumping through my body than I need to. So the more front loading of planning that we can do really helps me be successful and helps my team not be overwhelmed. And the BD school really showed that they could provide that. So I was like, going to do it.
Oh, very happy to hear. So actually, what it is that you enjoyed the most about the training? Maybe you can tell us a little bit more about the actual practicalities, let's say, of the training and what were the best aspects according to you?
I think it's incredibly organized. So when there's what we create with you, that dashboard, you can see the process from A to Z, and it allows us to connect it to our company goals. So, and that makes,
Mhm.
the owner and founder happy of like, okay, what are we doing? It's all connected to those goals. So being able to have that dashboard with all the different stages of figuring out who your client is and the best way to do it, but also tracking the metrics. So that way we know what we're doing is working. And the other thing, I think it's part of the school, but you're also generous in what you give and those insights where if there's something that I needed that wasn't quite in the portion that we were doing, we could talk through that, or you'd pull it from another place and be like, okay, you need this too. And then we pull in those pieces. And it's foundational. So, and this is something similar to our institute where you really have to learn the basics before you get to an advanced level. And so it wasn't overwhelming in the fact that I'm like, wait a minute, that is so above my head and I can't figure it out. You were able to explain it in a way where I could get that foundation and now I can build on it. But I still feel incredibly equipped. Like I don't feel like I'm missing something, which might be a lovely piece of being
Mhm.
naive. But I feel like I have everything I need right now to be doing what I need to be doing. And then as we grow and scale, you have other trainings available too, so I can stick around.
Very good. I hope so. So, of course, I told you many times I really enjoyed working together because, well, despite your background, that's really true. You really have a talent for it, right? So,
Oh,
I told you
thanks.
many times, sometimes, like, even, when I talk with BDs that do BD for a long time, sometimes the level of insight is not that deep, right? What we do, especially with the experimentation process, it was very creative. We could really go through, let's say, really to the bottom of each idea and really see how it connects to our overall goals and so on. So it was really enjoyable as a process. And of course, the training lasted 5 weeks, and you just finished it last week. So of course, it's always a little bit early, let's say, to actually quantify the let's say the effect of the training. But are there maybe some practical things that you took with you that really had an impact on how you do business development? Let's say, what's the best outcome you had so far?
Ooh, there's a couple. I think it took, this might sound odd, it took a lot of things off my plate where when I do like ideas and so things can become really overwhelming because there's so many fun things to do. But when we went through, I can't remember, is it task? Is that the acronym for, or the blink? It's blink. I can't think of the word for that.
Oh yeah,
And we go through,
the brass framework for the experimentation.
yeah, brass
Yeah.
fame. Thank you. I have a lot of acronyms in my life. So when we went through that piece, what we did, like 20 some ideas, and then we were able to go through that where it helps you break down what's most important and what you have most capacity for. So before I'd be like, oh, I have all these things I need to do, and it's the last quarter of the year, and I really need to be planning for this thing. I can pick what ends up highest on that list and not get overwhelmed anymore.
Mhm.
I still have a whole plan of things that I can do for next year, but I can really pick the most important pieces and really the important pieces of the that client journey to get to me. So I think the biggest takeaway, the return on investment right now is being able to prioritize and discern what's most important using that method.
Very good. And last question. So, if there is someone listening now that is considering taking the certification program but still has some doubts, what kind of advice would you give them?
Don't go back to school. Don't go get some college loans. That's I was like looking up these different programs, and if you're thinking about investing in yourself or even not investing in yourself, this is an investment in your career. It's an investment in your mental health. I'm always going to think about mental health. It's what I do on the other part of
Mhm.
my job, but being able to invest in yourself to feel more confident and you have more resources, that's going to help you with your burnout. And so take the time. You do it quickly. So it's the 10-hour process and then you get a lot of support even after that, but it's better than putting a lot of money into a place where it's not specific enough. You know what you want to do, and so
Mhm.
come to the BD school to do it.
Awesome. Katie, thank you so much for sharing your experience with us. So, for all of you listening, I hope you have a bit clearer ideas of how we work here at the BD School and, of course, the type of outcomes you can get. Of course, I do invite you to check our certification program. I'll put the links below and up here. Katie, thank you so much. Have a great rest of the day. And, of course, we will keep in touch in the coming weeks with the coaching sessions, hopefully. I'm really curious to see how the Training Institute is going to go.